When I was 6 years old, I saw a picture that had a great impact on me. It was a book called The Real Nature Stories, where an ancient forest was described. There was a picture of a boa constrictor that was swallowing an animal. This is how it looked. It said boa constrictors swallow their catch without chewing. After that, they cannot move and will sleep for up to 6 months, which they need to digest the food. Back then, I was fascinated by jungle adventures. It didn't take me long to draw my first picture. My picture number one looked like this. I showed my masterpiece to adults and asked whether they were scared. Are we scared? Who is afraid of a hat? They answered. But I didn't draw the hat. It was the boa constrictor digesting an elephant. But because the adults couldn't understand this, I made another picture. I showed what was inside the boa constrictor so that the adults were able to see it clearly. They always need everything explaining. My picture number two looked like this. This time, the adults advised me to leave the pictures of the boa constrictor inside or outside and dedicate myself to geography, arithmetic, and grammar. So at the age of 6, I gave up the thing that could bring me a successful career as an artist. I'd lost inspiration because of the failures with both my pictures. Adults will never get the point, and it's too tiring for children to explain everything to them. Later, I chose another occupation. I learned to fly a plane. I traveled to all parts of the world. Geography was really useful. I can tell the difference between China and Arizona at first sight. If you get lost at night, this knowledge is very valuable. During my life, I had to meet a lot of people who were busy with very important things. For a long time, I lived among adults. They were clearly visible, and I was able to watch them closely. But this didn't make my opinion about them better. When I met someone who seemed smart, I used to experiment. I showed my picture number one that I always carried with me. This way, I tried to find out whether a person could really understand everything correctly. But whether it was a man or a woman, everybody always said, "This is a hat." Such after an answer. I never discussed boa constrictors, ancient life, or stars with them. I came down to their level. I talked to them about bridges, golf, politics, and ties. And adults were very happy to meet such an intelligent person. Chapter 2. I was rather lonely. I had nobody to talk to honestly until I had an accident while flying my plane. It happened in the Sahara Desert. Something went wrong with the engine as there were no passengers or a mechanic with me. I decided to fix it myself. It was a matter of life or death for me. I hardly had enough water to survive for a week. During the first night, I had to sleep on the sand, thousands of miles from my civilization. I was more isolated than a sailor in a lifeboat after a shipwreck in the middle of the ocean. So you can imagine how amazed I was when a miraculous childish voice woke me up at dawn.